This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's community access radio station Plains FM 96.9 and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Coming up next on Plains FM is Find Your Bliss.
Good morning, Bliss lovers. It is Rebecca Davison here, intuition coach, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy. Welcome to the Find Your Bliss radio show here on Plains FM, where we broadcast live every Thursday at 9 a.m. and we discuss all things metaphysical, intuitive, psychic and supernatural. So welcome folks. Today our show is all about answering the calling of your soul and what it takes to do that. So it has been a pretty amazing time in the last couple of weeks. I have been launching Intuitive Mastery, and it has been incredible to see all the amazing people putting their hands up to answer the calling of their soul, which is to really live from your limitless self, to live from a place of expansion and to really let go of a lot of social conditioning, a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of doing life the way other people tell you to do it, and starting to turn inwards and listening to your own inner voice to go, what is it that I do really want, and how do I go about creating that so I can live a life that I really love? So folks, it's an exciting time. I have to share this story with you though, because it was just so amazing to receive a wee message like this. I'll try and I'll share some of it with you because it's so inspiring too. And you know, again, money is not the be all and end all, but it sure does help in terms of creating some freedom, right? So, last night I'd actually spent the day talking to about, 6 different people for Intuitive Mastery, which was incredible to have those connections and have those conversations, and I'll share more of that shortly. But then, probably about 10 o'clock at night, I got a message from one of my previous clients, and she was like, I want to share something with you. And she talked about how she'd created a vision board and how she'd put on that vision board that she wanted to, create wealth. And as part of that, she sent me a screenshot of her bank balance that day. So she's now officially a millionaire and created that for herself by stepping into she had a vision, she worked towards it obviously, but she also did the inner work of getting to that place of going, yes, I can trust, I can relax, I can lean back into receiving this, which is what we all want to experience too, right? Effortless manifestation, because we know that that's possible, rather than having to do the hustle, the grind, the push, which for women especially can often put them into masculine energy, and that's when we end up feeling resentful and drained and depleted because we're giving too much. And as women, women need to receive, right? Everybody needs to receive, but women can often go into masculine energy by overgiving. So it's just so inspiring to share that in the Facebook group in terms of, proof that if you set a goal and you set an intention and then you do the inner work and obviously the outer work to have that come to creation, then you can create anything you want. And now she's in that place where it's like, it can only get bigger from here. So inspiring to be in those frequencies, excuse me, and energy of what is it that you're choosing to create for yourself, and what does it take to go about and do the inner work to allow yourself to create it. Because there's a couple of things that I want to talk to about that. A lot of people don't realize that your outer reality is totally created by your inner reality. Right? If you haven't got it lined up on the inside, if you're operating from your mind or your ego or your rational mind, you're going to be limited in terms of the results that you get. You want to start shifting into, what does it feel like to live from my soul, and go into that expansive energy. And this is literally what it's all about. The energetic frequency of expansion, of abundance, means that there's no resistance there. There's no contraction. There is no part of you that's going, I can't have this, I'm not allowed this is not for me. This person who's manifested, her $1 million, she is not doing that, right? She's not in the energy of like, oh, I can't create that, or I'm not allowed that, or it's not for me. She's not running that in her thoughts, in her beliefs, or in her actions. And I think this is so incredible, folks, in terms of creating a life that you really love. It's so important. It is so important for you to be able to go, are my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions all lined up? And when you start working with your intuitive guidance, you're going to get results so much faster and quicker than you would if you worked from your rational mind. Your rational mind slows things down. Your rational mind doesn't really have very good direction, right? This is often why we talk about mindset and, mindfulness, which is ironic too. Even that statement, I was thinking about that as I was walking down my hallway the other day thinking, who wants to have a full mind? Nobody, really. What you want to be is out of your mind and you're in your infinite nature to be able to go out and create what it is that you want. You don't want to be in your head. You want to be in your body. You want to be expanded in your energy. Oh, lovely. Delamae's just sent me a note saying, just what I needed to hear, thank you. Right, again, and I see people struggle with this a lot. They get up into their head and then they do things like they try and figure it out through their head, and that doesn't work. Or they have a really intense emotion and they try and rationalize it. They take it out of their body and into their mind and they try and think their way through the emotion, where we need to learn what it is to take our attention back down into our heart and into our body and feel the emotion, so then the emotion can just move through. So I have been talking to some amazing people in the last couple of days in terms of them stepping into living from their soul. That's what Intuitive Mastery is all about. If you're interested, folks, you can go to my website, which is www.rebeccadavison.life, and if you click the link on the front page, it will take you into the webinar, which will give you all the details of it. The doors close for it on the 10th of October, so there is still a little bit of time considering it's the 1st of October today. But it's just so inspiring to see people, because I tell you what happens when you start to live from your soul. Inevitably, you are going to feel a little bit of fear, and I'll explain this why. Why do you feel fear? Because you know that this is more powerful from anything else that you have been operating from. It is unknown. You are literally stepping in to the unknown part of yourself and going, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's here. I don't know what this experience is going to be like, but I'm going to show up. I know it's really cheesy, but I do really love that expression. You have to show up to go up. Right? If you want to connect to the universe, you have to show up to it. And, this is fundamentally something that I feel like I bang the drum about a lot, but it's so important. What does it take to live in a world where people are living from their soul first and their heart, of course, and their mind last? Right? If you're living from your soul, you're going to get truth. The truth is going to set you free. You're going to be able to move forward more easily. You're going to readjust your perspective of what abundance really is. It's a vibrational frequency that you can run in your body. This is your point of attraction. When you're in the right point of attraction, it's easy to attract what it is that you want. There's no resistance. You can just go, okay, universe, this is what I want to experience. Show me what it takes to run the energy of that end result, and where there's no resistance, and again, once we identify what it is that we do want, the beautiful thing about that is because your soul loves you, it shows you everything in the way of that. It says, okay, well, you've got these limiting beliefs, so, let's bring that up to your awareness so you can actually go, okay, well, now that I have this awareness, what am I going to do in terms of releasing this? And this is the shadow work that we need to do to get really good at manifesting effortlessly. No resistance. That is the pathway. And if your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions aren't all lined up, you're going to be grinding your gears gears a bit in regards to creating what it is that you want in life. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know, you could, like I talk about this a lot, you could be a potato farmer in Idaho, a chicken farmer in Texas, you know, you could be in Antarctica. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. What matters is your relationship with the divine. So whatever you love to do, the vehicle that you're choosing, the divine needs to be there. The divine needs to be with you in your workplace and your moment-to-moment experience and manifestations and creations. You want that soul, spirit, divine frequency, high frequency energy to be part of who you are. It is who you are. We want to let go of everything that stands in the way of you experiencing that. And I know listening to this, you might be like, oh, that feels really nice and it sounds really good. But this is really about feeling it in your body. So, and that is an embodiment process. We need to get embodied in the energies. So this is a place that we're choosing to live from. And again, hence me saying, you have to make this a priority in your life. If you want things to work in your life, if you want to experience flow, if you want to experience grace and ease and the magic of the universe, then you will put the universe first, right? First above, your universe, which is inside of you, first. Which is often why people go, oh, it feels a little bit selfish to do that. Self-full, maybe, full of your true self, not full of your mind, like mindfulness. You want to be in your true nature and energy. And that feels amazing because that is the energy of expansion. The universe is always expanding. We want to expand, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. We always want to be expanding. This is what happens, right? We sometimes get comfortable and we go, oh, this is nice. I like this. It's all nice and cozy. But then, of course, being human, we have the burning desire on a deeper level to grow. And then what will happen is we'll start bumping up against our own paradigm. We'll be like, oh, you know what? I feel a bit stuck. I feel a bit uninspired. I feel like there's more, but I feel like maybe there's this limitation in place. There is a self-imposed limitation, folks, because you are the creator. Whatever you have chosen in your reality is your creation. So if you're feeling that, oh, I feel a little bit limited, I feel like I want something more, it's time to push down that invisible wall and step into your soul-based energy. And there is so much freedom, pleasure, and abundance when we do the work of letting go. I actually talked to some folks once about how doing spiritual work is really the process of knocking down all the compartments that we have in our mind, in our body, in our energy field. So it's all open plan. So we can really live from that place of expansion and pleasure, because that's what feels good. I mean, we all want that, right? Everybody wants to feel good. It's innate. It's part of our guidance system. When you feel good, you're in alignment. If you're not feeling good, you're out of alignment. Now, we don't want to judge ourselves if we're not in alignment, if we're not feeling good. We actually want to bring love to that. We want to bring presence and witness ourselves and love ourselves so we can come back into alignment. Because this is often what happens. People feel bad about something, or they feel contracted, they don't feel good, and then they make themselves wrong for it. No, just love yourself into the next evolution of yourself. But again, we have to have courage to step up and face the unknown. And until you cultivate that courage to do that, you're probably always going to feel like you're missing out on something. Like, have you ever had that? Like FOMO, it's a real thing, right? Fear of missing out. That feeling of like there has to be something more. I've had multiple conversations in the last couple of days, right, with people where they're like, I just feel like there's something more. Or they're feeling like they want to know themselves more deeply. They want to get to know all of themselves because, that's where our fulfillment comes from. The universe really is genius, isn't it? That it places it inside of you, and that's where you need to start looking. Your body is a divine temple. It gives you intuitive information all the time. When you walk into a room and you're like, ooh, doesn't feel good in here, right? That is your intuitive guidance system saying, be aware, right? Be aware that this maybe isn't the best environment. If somebody's being unkind, your intuitive guidance is probably like, okay, if it lands in your body, do you know how to deal with that? If somebody says something unkind to you, and like words can land like knives, folks, right? So do you know how to deal with that? Your intuitive guidance can help you to always stay in a vibration. We just don't even let it land. But again, that's because we've taken the time, energy, and attention to focus on ourselves and go, okay, what am I doing in terms of making sure that my energy is mine, right? That it is not being muddled with other people's opinions, beliefs, agendas, thought processes. And this is why I love intuitive guidance so much, because it's never about somebody else telling you what to do. It's about you tuning in and going, oh, what choice am I going to make here? If I was living from my limitless self, if I was living from a place where there was no limitation, complete freedom, what would I choose now? Right? And the universe loves that, right? Because that is you aligning with your limitless self. That is you making choices from a very inspired place. And the universe recognizes that and then can support you in that, right? It's an energetic match. The universe goes, oh, you're choosing that for yourself. And then it goes boom. That's when the synchronicity occurs. That's when the door opens where there was once a wall. That's where you feel so inspired and lit up that you could, set the world on fire and become unstoppable. So let's talk about some of the things that have happened for some of the women who've been putting their hands up for intuitive mastery. One of the common things that I have seen is small self or big self. We often need to give ourselves permission to choose to live from our limitless self. A lot of people can have a misconception that maybe that's too bold or too much, or that if they step into their true power, that it's going to make other people feel uncomfortable. You have to really ask yourself, is that good for you? Is that good for the people around you? If you are limiting yourself to make other people comfortable, not a good situation to be in, folks, right? It is going to make you miserable. It's going to make you resent the people around you because you have given your power away to their thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, rather than activating that choice within you to go, yeah, let's go for it. That sounds like fun. I want to do that. I want to be the person who's going to live from my limitless self. I want to get divine inspiration. I want the universe to wake me up with an idea and say, hey, go do this. I want to communicate with higher intelligence that can see the bigger picture. So if I'm struggling with something, it can bring me the solution. It can tell me what it takes to create a life of abundance, because I can follow the energetic vibration, and that's why I love being a facilitator for this work, because it really is about how do you get your ego out of the way and live from your soul. What does your ego do? Bless it, it really is an illusion, but it is often something that we give time, energy, and attention, right? It limits you. It often holds you in fear. It definitely holds you in comparison, holds you in competitiveness, holds you in I'm not enough, holds you in they're doing better than me, holds you in I can't do it, holds you in separation, disconnection, disbelief. Your ego, it really does need to be transcended so you can live from your soul and know that there's nothing stopping you apart from yourself. Right? Which I know can be confronting, right? It's like, oh my goodness, there's nothing outside of me that is stopping me from actually achieving what I want apart from me. Because it's my beliefs or my thought about what I think somebody else thinks. Right? If I'm sitting there going, oh, I can't do that because they'll get upset. You've literally taken your focus away from your own energy and you've gone up into somebody's mind and possibly what they think when you don't actually know. You're just making an assumption, and we all know an assumption makes an ass out of you and me. And you're getting yourself tangled into their mind, which, as you know, is the smallest part of them. So you're literally giving your power away to something less powerful than you. So that's why we need to learn to bring our attention back to self and go, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to create? Where do I want to move into? This is how we start answering the calling of our soul. And also too, that your soul is going to be able to help you so much more than your rational mind. And this is why people end up getting burnt out, stressed out, annoyed, frustrated. They feel uninspired because they're not living from spirit. They're doing a job, they may be doing it 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and they're not doing it from a place of inspiration. Of course you're going to get burnt out. You're going to end up thinking, WTF, right? What am I doing here? This is not what I chose for myself. This is not how I want to be inspired. You must choose what it is that you love and figure out what it takes to stay in those energies consistently and get your money stuff sorted, right? Get your money junk sorted, so you give yourself the freedom to choose what it is that you love and to be able to create money from it. Folks, I've seen people make money from building Lego. I remember coming across a YouTube channel where these people were crushing it, making money from building Lego and filming YouTube videos from it. And I remember thinking at the time, if those people can do that, I can definitely create what I want from my experience, right? There is a way to monetize anything, but choose what you love. And if you don't know what you love, you need to get to know yourself. You need to look inside yourself and go, where did I lose my passion, right? What is it that I would love to do if I had all the money in the world? What would I do? And don't say traveling, because yes, everybody wants to go traveling. I'm talking about purpose. I'm talking about your passion. What is that? And coming back to that, because that's what's, I just saw embers. You blow on the embers and then it bursts into flames, right? That's really what you want to live in, the energy of, setting your soul on fire, so then you can experience that expansion and that freedom that comes from, oh my goodness, I have the fulfillment because I've chosen to listen to my intuition. I'm doing what I love, so I'm running high frequency energy, which increases your attraction factor, so you can attract in what it is that you want and create more of it. And before you know it, you're running the energy of abundance and expansion and experiencing more and more and more of it. So don't let your ego tell you what's not possible. Excuse me, Abraham Hicks talk about this, right? They talk about specific negativity and then general negativity, moving to general positivity and then specific positivity. And this is really important. Like if you're in a place and you're focusing your energy on I can't or I don't, you want to learn what it is to just go, okay, well, what's something less specific than that? Like if I can't go after my big dream, what's just something less specific? Or I'm not allowing myself perhaps to go after my big dream. And then it's like the staircase where we go, or what would it feel like if I was, if I was just playing with my imagination? Because it's all about focus and attention. Where you place your focus, that's where your attention is, that's where your energy is. So that's where your point of creation is. And this is why we talk so much about learning to place your attention on where you want it to go. Like you want it to go into flow, you want it to feel good, you want to focus on bliss, you want to focus on love. However, it's not going to be easy to do that if you've got those subconscious beliefs of I'm not good enough, I can't have this, blah, 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 right? So that's why we do the shadow work. We go deep and we go, okay, what's in my subconscious? Where did I pick up that belief? Why am I telling myself this? Why am I running the same pattern? Why am I making these choices in regards to my love life? Why is this showing up for me so consistently, right? That's when we start going, oh, okay, I can shift that to a higher vibration in my subconscious, and then it's easier for your mind to focus on where you want it to go, right? So it becomes more and more effortless because you've done the job of getting to know yourself, which is what your soul wants anyway. So it all becomes like a perfect opportunity. And that's what intuitive mastery is all about. Intuitive mastery is about getting to know yourself at the deepest possible level, right? All of you, the light and the dark. And you know what? Loving and accepting all of it. Now, I can appreciate for a lot of people, because you might feel, even me talking about this, you might feel some discomfort in your body, because that's probably your soul knocking up against your ego. You might think it's your emotions, but that discomfort is probably being called upon you, because you're like, you know what, I'm done with the status quo. I'm done with life just being the same. I'm done with being in a routine and a daily grind, right? Because what happens is, as humans, we have this really interesting thing where we love the habitual stuff, we love the routine, but we also love variety. So we need to learn what it is to have a routine that creates variety. Okay, so we're always experiencing something new, because that's how we grow. You know, if you have contrast in your life, that is a growth experience. That's your soul saying, hey, have some growth, right? Rather than you sitting there going, and your ego will often turn it into a drama, right? Like, oh, I can't believe this is happening, or this person's being so horrible, or they're driving me nuts, or that is an opportunity when you learn the skills to look inside and go, what is this showing me about myself? What belief do I have about myself that is being shown up through this circumstance? You know, like often when we see in other people what it is, and we dislike it in other people, what we dislike in ourselves. And this is, you know, this is personal growth on steroids. When we have the ability to look inside ourselves and go, okay, I'm responsible. I am the person who's seeing life through my filter. So I get to see a friendly world, or I get to see an unkind world, because it's my filter. So I have to be the one who steps out of that. Now, some of the feedback too, folks, that I've had from the Intuitive Mastery applications, a couple of people have thought, oh, it's just for people who want to be a coach. That's not the case. It's personal development, right? Like, to be able to facilitate other people, you need to know yourself pretty well, right? You need to be able to be accountable to your own feelings and your own experience. You need to claim all your own shame, right? Shame is a very contracted energy and emotion. So when we have that in our reality, in our field, it is going to show up as suffering. You know, if we've got, and I want you to think about this. I want you to think, hey Brian, I want you to think, is there anybody in your life or world or any situation where you're like, I would really not have people know about that? Right, something that's happened to you in your past. Yeah, I can feel that because my heart's starting to ache a little bit, right? Just that situation where something's happened, but you would be embarrassed of it or ashamed of it, right? There is contracted energy there. You want to learn what it takes to let that go, you know, which is why I talk about things about how I've lost my license for drinking and driving, or how I've been assaulted, right? I don't have any shame about it. You know, I've forgiven myself. I've done the work of letting the shame go. You know why? Because that expands your energetic vibration. And when you're expanded, it's easier to manifest what it is that you want. The freedom, the bliss, the joy, the pleasure, the abundance. And, you know, even seeing, make sure that I don't say her name because I'm trying to protect her privacy. Seeing this previous client, you know, she's set the goal to be a millionaire, and now she's created that for herself. Why? Because you can. You totally can, with the help of your infinite nature. If you lean back into those energies of trusting, of knowing yourself deeply, of course, doing some outside 3D world work doesn't come from just sitting under a tree and watching the leaf fall off the tree. It comes from being in alignment, right? And choosing that for yourself, and choosing to be the person who's stepping into that and going, yes. So, and again, with Intuitive Mastery, folks, again, the doors close. What are we up to? It's the 1st of October. So there'll be one more radio show, but the doors close on the 10th of October. Do come into the Facebook group. You'll see the links there to schedule a call with me. Super important in terms of, you know, if you've never worked with me before, it's really a great opportunity for us to get to know each other. It's a 10-month journey. So it's an immersion process, because you want to be immersed in the energies to the extent where you feel it in your body and you stay in it consistently, rather than trying to tune into your intuition. It's about living from it, and then noticing if you're going back into your rational mind and kind of bringing yourself back to what's true. So super important then, folks. I have to tell you that there is a survey that is happening with Plains FM. So at this point in time, Plains FM are doing a survey to find out what it is that you guys love and like. So if you want to go to the Plains FM website, which is www.plainsfm.org.nz, there's a link to the survey on the homepage. That'll be really helpful for them to make sure that they're providing what it is that you want, that you're getting what it is that you enjoy, and that they can make sure that they provide that for you. That they they do an amazing job of working in the community, making sure that people's voices are heard. But of course, they need your feedback to make sure that they're on point. So if you'd like to go to the website and do the survey, I'm sure they will very much appreciate it. Everyone who participates will go into the draw for a $100 Prezi card. So do bear that in mind. Always fun to be, set the intention, right, that you're going to be the winner, and pop in and do the survey and then see what happens. So folks, today we have been talking about answering the calling of your soul and how we must transcend our ego to be, and ego can be tricky, right? Ego can be tricky. Ego will tell you things like, I don't have enough time, right? Or I don't have enough money, right? And again, or my life is too chaotic at the moment. Okay, that is always your ego, right? Your ego is the part of you that stops you from saying yes to your soul's desire, right? Your soul knows, right? Your soul knows what it is that your soul already knows. Your soul is the most expanded part of you. Your soul is way bigger than your body, right? So your soul knows. Your soul is your connection to infinite source energy. It is, you're in your body is in it, essentially. So your soul has the broader perspective. So it knows, right? It knows what it is that you want to create. So are you going to start tuning in and listening to that? Or are you going to, like I did that for years. I'll tell you some funny stories, folks. Oh my goodness. I remember when my job got disestablished. Oh my goodness, you should have seen my ego. Kind of embarrassing to think back on now, but I just, I went into so much contraction around it. I was complaining and I was grizzling and I was upset and I was unhappy and I was like, I can't believe they're doing this to me. But from a soul perspective, if I'd just taken some time to tune into the soul perspective, I would have been able to see, oh my goodness, this is such a blessing, because it's literally the universe saying to me, you're in the wrong place. You need to move. But of course, what the ego does is it goes, oh, I'm not going to be safe and I don't have the money and what am I going to do for a job? And, it taps into all our deepest fears on a primal level. So, but if I just had the opportunity at that point in time to broaden my perspective a little bit, I would have saved myself a lot of grief. I thrashed about in that situation for, about 18 months. Yeah, so it was a really intense time of unhappiness because my soul was just like, all right, you're done here, it's time to go. And I was in massive resistance. And resistance always makes it worse, right? If you want to read a really great book, Michael A. Singer, The Surrender Experiment. Amazing, an amazing book. He literally, as a young person, he decided to surrender to everything. Right? Everything that was occurring. And this is so funny, like some of the stories in the book were just incredible. He bought some land and he even came home one day and somebody was building a house on his land. Like it was somebody he knew. But he just went into surrender about it. He was just like, okay, I'm just going to surrender. Most people would probably go into massive resistance about that. If you came home and somebody was building a house on your property, you'd probably be a little bit like, but that's your ego, right? That's your ego kind of going, oh my God, that's wrong. Or, and again, we want to be aware of boundaries versus barriers, but he'd made this agreement with his higher self that he was going to surrender. And this is why surrender is huge in terms of manifestation. surrender, non-resistance, letting life flow. Everything that is happening in your life has been designed for a higher purpose. You know, the timing of things often comes back to that divine timing, right? That something occurs in your life at the time that it's supposed to. If you can just take the time to take a look, and some people might say, look for the silver lining or the more expanded perspective, but we often need to show up to what that is, that infinite part of ourselves, to be able to identify it. Right? Because often, you know, we need to know the truth and be present to the truth and experience the truth and run the truth and feel the truth in our body to be able to identify it quickly, right? Instead of going, because the truth is always going to be more expansive. And all suffering comes from too limited a view, all suffering. So when you have the ability to go, okay, what's the more expanded perspective here? You know, and I have a really good example for that, right? My dad passing away. The limited view is that he's left the earth plane, and that's really painful, and it is on a human level. But the more expanded view is that only love is real, and he's still with me. I'm still in relationship with my dad. I talk to him all the time, right? So I've lost his physicality, and I miss that. That's the human experience. But on the spiritual experience, there's no change. In fact, it's even better because he's free of any pain and suffering, and I get to communicate with him. So learning to understand what it is to answer the calling of your soul, we must have courage, beauties. We must have the courage to answer the calling of our soul, the nudges, because your intuition will never override your free will. You can ignore it indefinitely if you choose to. It's probably a painful way to live. It's probably going to create a lot of suffering for you, because your intuition literally is the key to your freedom when it comes to fulfillment, when it comes to happiness, when it comes to peace, when it comes to abundance, when it comes to all those things you want. And how ironic that it's inside of you, which is the last place everybody looks. We often look externally, right? I'll just buy another house and then I'll be happy. No, it doesn't work like that. You can buy the house, but buy the house knowing that the house isn't going to bring you the happiness. The happiness is inside of you. It's what you're doing in terms of your relationship with yourself. So folks, are you going to answer the calling of your soul? Intuitive Mastery, I've had an amazing response. I think at the moment I've had I think 11 people confirmed so far. There's 30 spaces, so that's 19 remaining. I think I've got about I can't even do the math. I've got about, if everybody that I interview next says yes, there'll be about 7 places remaining. So if you're watching this and you're interested in Intuitive Mastery, if you're interested in developing your intuition, I would encourage you to reach out to me as soon as possible. The reason being too is this only happens once a year. This program that I launch only happens once a year. It really is an immersion process. It's about shifting from doing to being, and to realizing that you are the creator of your reality in every single moment, right? Not just on the weekends, not just on the call, right? In every single moment, you have the ability to focus your energy and attention in a direction that you want it to go. You have the ability to be aware of your subconscious beliefs that might be ruining or running your life, right? And to go, okay, I know I'm going to learn the tools in regards to how to shift a limiting belief, so you can send your energy in a direction that you want it to go. I really do see it as 2 parts often, because often, you know, I've worked with a lot of people, one-on-one coaching folks who've experienced a lot of trauma, you know, like abuse, sexual abuse, violence, emotional abuse, heartbreak, divorce, bankruptcy, you know, grief, a lot of really contracted, heavy energy. We need to let that go out of our energy field before we can even really consider going into those dream frequencies, right? Because your subconscious energy will be like, it's just not possible, or it's not safe for me to step into a more expanded version of myself because I'm still hurting, right? I still need to heal. That is the journey of Intuitive Mastery. It basically takes you from 0 to hero. You'll heal your trauma. You'll be witnessed. You'll have your emotions seen, right? You'll learn what it is to be present to your own emotions so you can honor them. You'll understand that they're a guidance system, that they're showing you something. That's probably a younger part of you that's looking to be seen, witnessed, and loved, integrated and accepted into your energy so you can be healed, and then you can use all your infinite energy in the place where you want it to go, right? Rather than having your focus pulled back to the past, feeling stuck, feeling like there's tent pegs in the ground or you're pinned into a situation. You can start pulling them out, setting yourself free so you can move forward into what it is that you want. So do go to my website, www.rebeccadavison.life. You'll see the webinar there. There's more information in that. And from there as well, you can actually book. If you go to callrebeccanow.com, and you can actually book your interview there. So made it really nice and simple with that website, didn't I? callrebeccanow.com. If you scroll halfway down the page, you'll click on a link and it will take you through into the application form. So folks, don't ignore, right? Don't ignore the calling of your soul. Your soul wants you to live in inspiration. Your soul wants you to experience love. Right? Your soul wants you to experience the expansion that is available to you. Your soul is with you every single step of the way. I think a lot of times, there's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing people who feel like they're alone. That is not true. You are being witnessed all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. But becoming sensitive to that energy, you have to ask for it. You have to activate it. You have to initiate it. You're free. You have free will. Your intuition will never override your free will. So you have to be the one who says, you know what? I want to start learning how to live from my intuition. I want to start learning how to activate this superpower that's been there all the time, but maybe that my rational mind has said, oh, it's not powerful enough, or it's been criticized by the external world, so I've tucked it away. A lot of people, when we start talking about spiritual work, there can be criticism and judgment, and a lot of people often have fear around that. A lot of people I work with, when they start working with me, they haven't told their family that they're doing intuitive coaching, that they're learning how to tap into their inner self. Their family feel it because their energy starts shifting and the power proposition changes, because once where they would have behaved in a particular way where maybe they would have conceded and now they're saying no, or maybe when they would have just gone with it and now they're saying, actually, this is what I do want to do. People notice it, right? We're all really intuitive. We're all monitoring and noticing energy all the time. I talked with the lovely Ingrid yesterday, and she's a hairdresser, right? She's worked with people and she's literally in their energy field, right, from doing their hair. You're going to pick up huge volumes of information. So she probably is already very intuitive, but when we go through the process of intuitive mastery, you have clarity. You get to ask the questions, right? So, and again, it's super fun. People are doing it all the time, but they're not doing it from a place of clarity. They're not doing it from a place of leverage. They're not doing it from a place of power. And that's when the rubber hits the road, right? When you've got your beliefs, your thoughts, and your actions all lined up, boom, everything starts moving forward. But your intuition can guide you and show you the times and places where you have forgotten, right? Where there has been contracted energy, where something's happened to you and it's been painful, right? And I get it. I know sometimes listening to this, it can be frightening or scary, but it doesn't have to be. The antidote to fear is love. Right? That part of you that feels fearful is just wanting love. That's what it wants. It just wants to be blasted with so much love because it's just contracted into I'm fearful, I'm afraid. What it's really asking for is love, for love to be present, to feel the love of the universe, to feel your own love towards yourself. That's why intuition is one of the most amazing things you can do in terms of your self-worth and your self-happiness, because you're showing up. You're being present, you're witnessing yourself, you're giving yourself attention. Because you know how lovely it is when somebody gives you their undivided attention. Right? They're present. Sometimes they don't even have to say anything. And it's just so lovely. That is what the universe wants to do with you. It wants to be with you. It wants to have that relationship with you. It wants to literally blow your mind in terms of what's possible. Hey folks, I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook now. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a privilege and a pleasure. It's a real mouthful, that one, isn't it? Again, if you want to know more information about Intuitive Mastery, pop into the Facebook group for the Intuitive Life Academy, or go to RebeccaDavison.live. Or if you're just ready to jump in and go, you know what, I'm going to bust down my paradigms and I'm going to live from a different frequency, and I'm going to take my intuition, because we get very precise in Intuitive Mastery, right? We're not asking vague questions. We get precise. We ask questions like, what are your values? Identify the value. To what level are you living that value? Say it's only 70%. Why? What's the 30% that's remaining? How do we shift that to 100% now? Right? So we get very specific in asking our intuition questions that can bring us information quickly and directly. And it's always about the quality of the questions that you ask your intuition. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Lots of love to you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Alrighty folks, listening to the Find Your Bliss radio show here on Plains FM. Today we are talking about answering the calling of your soul and how important that is to live from, to have enough courage to step into living from those frequencies, and what happens when you do, right? What happens when you do, your soul really does have all the answers in terms of your own healing. Right? We need to witness ourselves. We need to learn how to honor our emotions, and our intuition helps us to do that. And this is how, like I said, we can let go of all those painful energies, shameful situations from the past, experiences where we've thought, I'll never get over that. I've worked with a lot of people, folks, who have been raped. I've worked with a lot of people who've experienced a lot of abuse from family members, from extended family, from the neighbour down the street. I've worked with people who have thought that they were going to die when they've been attacked. I've worked with people who, are heartbroken, or they've lost a loved one, or they're in massive grief because they don't understand that love continues, right? And therefore they can still have a relationship with that person even though they're passed over. They don't understand in regards to their own immortality, because your soul is limitless and timeless. It goes on forever. It is the infinite part of you. So, but when we have a greater understanding, it can bring us so much relief and so much comfort that we're not alone, and that we haven't been just dropped off onto this planet. Again, that you came here willingly. You wanted to have this experience. If it's not matching up to your expectations, I can guarantee you're not living from soul-based energy. Because when you do, you understand the nature of the universe. You understand that love is what is real. You can feel it in the world around you. You can feel it in your body. You can be in that space where you're like, and this is a huge one, I talk about this a lot, and I received this from A Course in Miracles, defenselessness. When you're running the energy of defenselessness, everything opens up for you. It becomes magical. It becomes a circumstance from, where you are just choosing peace and joy, which on a soul level is possible. Because your soul will often, give you that insight, that inspiration. And again, it never overrides your free will. You need to be the one who's going to step in and go, yes, that's what I'm choosing. Yes, I don't know everything at the moment. I have no idea. Often my clients who've gotten the best results, they're like, I have no idea what's going to happen in this session, but I know that I need to do this, right? My soul is yearning for it. My soul is yearning to be expressed, to be seen, to be witnessed. If you think about it, your soul can be infinitely patient in terms of us ignoring it, denying it, not listening to it, not showing up for it. If you really want to live a life of love, you will show up for your soul. You'll do the work of letting go of where you have been told that you need to live from your mind. And then you'll be like, and again, that's when you get happy feet, right? Because you'll be dancing with your soul. You'll be dancing with your angelic team. You'll be dancing with the universe. You will have learnt the secrets of the universe. Like Nikola Tesla said himself, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What's an angel? An angel is a higher frequency being. That's it. Why do we want to tune into an angel? Because they have a higher perspective. They have a higher vibration. They can connect us to a frequency that is beneficial. Right? So that's why we want to do the work of learning about our soul, learning what it takes to show up to our infinite self and step into intuitive mastery. And again, folks, intuitive mastery only happens once a year. So this is the time to enroll for 2020. Again, call Rebecca now to book an appointment time. I really, I can't tell you, even that message that I got from my previous client, I had no doubt in my mind when I met her that she had the capacity to do it. She focused her energy, works really well in a team. Her team love her, so again, just incredible when somebody goes, I'm going to do this, and then they align with it. That is what your intuition is asking of you. If you want to know your purpose, you will start showing up to your intuition. Because your intuition knows. Even Steve Jobs said that. He said, you need to work with your intuition because somehow it knows what it is that you wish to become. That's right. Because your soul knows, right? Your soul has all the answers. Maybe you don't have the keys in terms of unlocking the door. That's what I see intuitive mastery about. That you get so good at asking yourself an intuitive question and getting an answer instantaneously so you can go, okay, this is the next step. This is what I do next, right? Again, and then getting your rational mind to be the implementer of all your intuitive guidance, and then you're away. And then before you know it, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so much happier than I used to be because I'm following what is true for me. I'm not listening to authority figures outside of me. I'm not listening to what they're saying on the news. I'm not listening to what my boss is saying anymore. I'm listening to what's right for me and honoring myself by saying that, right? And again, helping yourself to realize that the circumstance that you are in, if it's not so great right now, there's a lesson there. Your soul is trying to show you something. So look to the more expanded perspective, even asking that question, what is it that my soul is possibly wanting me to learn here? In my disestablishment of my role, obviously my soul was like, it's time for you to get out of there. But it was also showing me too, those contracted energies, they don't suit you. They're not attractive, right? It's not attractive to be moaning and complaining and whinging, right? Looking back on it, that's not attractive. And it doesn't serve you. It does not get you to where you want to go. And we talk about this, and we talk about it, I had just an image of like fish kind of feeding on the edge of something. Intuitive mastery is when you're jumping in. You don't want a little bit of fish food, which is like, stop complaining or think positive. That doesn't really help. Right? If you have experienced trauma in your life, it's going to be really hard for you to think positively. You want to shift it on an energetic level out of your body, mind, and spirit. Right? That is not for you, but it has landed in your field and it's probably playing out a pattern of energy that is not serving you. It's time to go. It's time to do some energetic housework. Right? I talked about it on the webinar about a filing cabinet that's full of clutter. You need to declutter your subconscious so then it's easier to think thoughts naturally that are serving you. Because this is the thing, we don't want to have to monitor our thoughts all the time. It's kind of impossible. Right? We want them to organically spring from a place of love. But we need to do a little bit of work to get to that place where they're showing up in the way that we want. Okay, and it's so worth it. This is where, you get the opportunity to fall in love with your soul, to fall in love with your infinite nature, to be surprised and delighted that there is way more to life than you ever thought possible, and to live in those beautiful frequencies of inspiration. So once again, folks, you can either go to callrebeccanow.com, book an appointment to speak to me and learn more about intuitive mastery. You can go to rebeccadavison.life for the webinar. If you click on the link on the homepage, you'll have to register for it, but you can watch it there. The doors close on the 10th of October. Like I said, at this point in time, there's probably maybe 7 to 8 places left. If everybody I speak to next says yes, that is. So just bear that in mind, right? This only happens once a year. It is a sacred tribe. I interview everybody. There's a reason for that, to make sure that it's a safe environment for everybody to be in. You need to be held to a level of accountability, and that's important to me, to be able to provide that to attendees. You will be seen, you will be witnessed, and you will be loved into the next evolution of yourself. So if that sounds like you, do come and have a chat to me. And folks, remembering that survey for Plains FM, if you go to plainsfm.org.nz and participate in the survey, you'll go into a draw to win a $100 Prezi card. You can also go to social media, their Facebook page and their Instagram page, and find the information there as well. So don't miss out on that amazing opportunity of a Prezi card. All right, folks, as always, it is so much fun and a joy and delight to connect with you. I'm sending you all my love. Please, 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 I hope you're choosing bliss. I hope you're choosing joy, and I hope you're choosing to live from your infinite self. Lots of love. Bye for now.